Hello everybody, it's Chrissy here from the Creative Eclectic. Happy Tuesday night. Hope everyone is having a fabulous week and you're all well. I'm really excited about tonight's two projects that I'm going to share with you. So let's wait a moment and see who joins us. Okay. Now if you're watching from home, say hello. I was going to do a craft along tonight and unfortunately I wasn't well on yesterday, and I spent most of the day either in bed or on the couch, so I didn't prep for a craft along tonight. So, but that's okay. We can do a craft along when the new catalogue comes out. So, yeah. So tonight we're going to get a little bit wild. We've got a bit of a jungle theme happening tonight. So we're going to make two cards. The first card is with one of the online extras, and it is the Tropical Leaf Bundle, and it has a punch and it has a stamp, and it's hopefully going to be a 15-minute card. That's my goal. So that's the first one that we'll be creating with. The second thing we'll be creating with is the Rhino Ready stamp set. We're not using the bundle. Again, I want it to be a nice quick card. There will be a little bit of colouring, but I'm hoping not too much. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of embossing, also using an embossing folder from the online extras. It's from the Basics 3D embossing folder, and we're using it on both cards. So it's a crosshatch design, and I thought that it looked really nice. So we're using it for both of our cards. So we're going to emboss two pieces together. So we'll just pop them in our embossing folder. Now this is a 3D embossing folder. So if you're using your Stampin' Up embossing machine, you're going to need to use platform 1 and platform 4. So I don't normally emboss on camera, but I am today because I want to show you. This is a nice, quick, easy card. I hope everyone had a really fabulous Easter. We did have a fabulous Easter. And it was so much fun. I'm wondering if my Facebook Live is actually even working. I can't see anyone watching me tonight other than me. So if you're watching, say hello. If not, if you're watching on replay, thanks for popping by. Yeah, I can't see anyone. So if you are watching, please say hello in the comments, because otherwise I'm just talking to air and it's no fun. Now, sometimes when you do these, so it says you need platform 4 and platform 1. So on your embossing plate, it actually tells you what you need. So you need platform 4, platform 1. You put your embossing folder in. What do you call that thing? Fold first, crease first. Okay. Let's see if this is going to go through. Might need to stand up and do this. It's not going to let me do that. Sometimes when it says that you need to use something, you sometimes need to play with it. Let's see if it goes through with the 3. I don't think it's going to emboss with the 3. Not really. Let's see if... The plan was to do 2 pieces of paper at once, but it's not liking that. So what I'm going to just do is move my cardstock down lower in my embossing folder, stagger my plates and try again. There, that's a bit better. I didn't have my plates staggered enough, or maybe I wasn't holding my mouth right. Sometimes it's a little tough. I don't use this embossing machine very often because it's up in my craft room, in my film studio. I use my old Big Shot more than anything. So yeah. So we've got a piece of white and a piece of basic grey that have been embossed with this fabulous Basics 3D embossing folder. Okay, so we're going to move the basic grey one out the way because that's for our second card. So, hi Julie, lovely to see you watching. I hope you're really well, and I hope it's nice weather where you are. It's a beautiful time of year here in Brisbane. It's just really, really nice. So, for our first card, I've got a piece of Granny Apple Green. Sometimes I get confused whether it's Granny Apple Green or whether it's Parakeet Party, but I know this is Granny Apple Green. Oh, it's cold and windy. That's no good. Oh, I'm sitting here in a summer dress, although I did have to wear a jacket today. Okay, so we've embossed a piece of white. So the Granny Apple Green is 1/8 of an inch smaller than your card base, and then your next one is another 1/4 of an inch smaller. So I think this one is 3 7/8, and this one is 5 5/8 that way, and this one is 3 3/8 and 5 3/8. I think that's the measurements. So we've got those there. And then we've got our tropical leaf stamp set. Now this is a photopolymer stamp set. So when you use it, you will need a bit of foam or something underneath it. Now we're using 2 parts of it. Now this is from the Online Extras. Who else is watching us today? Someone else is watching. Yeah. Yeah, Sydney's a bit like New Zealand weather. It gets really cold really early in autumn. Sometimes I get concerned about that, how cold it gets. Anyway, so we've got our first photopolymer stamp. I'm just going to move the other ones over here. And I've got a bit of, well, I had a bit of scrap white. Got a bit of scrap white here. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink that up in Parakeet Party. And I'll grab my deluxe foam mat. I was going to use the Stamparatus, but you can't buy the Stamparatus at the moment. So I thought I will just use this one here. Now I'm inking it up really well. Then I'm going to do what we call a thumping technique. So I've got my old olive marker and I have got a granny apple green marker. And I'm just going to, first with my granny apple green, I'm just going to thump it onto my leaf randomly. Okay, and I'm using the brush tip for this. And the new markers that are coming out, they have got a much nicer brush tip. And now I've got my old olive marker and I'm just doing a few random thumps. Now this was one of the very first techniques before I became a demonstrator, so about 16 years ago, my dear friend Kim taught me. So we're going to stamp. So remember when we use our deluxe foam mat, we need to have something underneath it. Some foam, I'll start that again. When we use our photopolymer stamp, we need to have some foam underneath it. So that's a bit random. Okay, I'm going to do a second leaf. We're just using 2 leaves. Normally I would do 3 leaves on a card, but I'm actually casing a card from my dear friend Meg from iteachstamping.com, and I love this card so much, and mine will be a little bit different to hers, but not much. But I just loved it. And so here again, I'm thumping with my marker to add some different mottly colours to it, because leaves aren't a single colour. You use your piercing mat. Oh, hi Jodie. Oh, it's early. Yes. Oh, well, because daylight savings has finished, hasn't it? Hi, Glenda. Oh, hope it's not too cold for you down there, Jodie. And Glenda, I hope it's beautiful weather where you are, because I know it's lovely here in Brisbane today. It's a bit windy, but it's just lovely. All right, so now, because it's a 2-step stamp, we're going to see how good my eyeballing is today, and this is why I wanted to use the Stamparatus, so I could more easily line up my lines on my stamp. And I haven't used this before, so this is all new to me. How about, I should have watched how my friend did it. I'm just going to stamp it off once, because I'm doing it in old olive. Because normally the veins on a leaf are a bit darker. I just moved it. So you can have it wherever you like. Doesn't really matter. You could have done it in Parakeet Party. You could have done it in Granny Apple Green. I like the second leaf better than the first, but that's quite okay. Right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our little punch. Lovely little one. The reason I don't use the piercing mat and I use the deluxe Stamparatus mat is because the deluxe Stamparatus mat has got that, it's got like a cover on it, and it just, sometimes if you use your piercing mat for piercing, sometimes it becomes a little bit uneven. So I'm just going to punch this out now. And I'm not sure that I like that really dark green. So what I may do is tone it down a little bit with, if I can find it, I do have one, my Wink of Stella. Goodness, I still haven't recovered. Like yesterday when I had the migraine and was in bed, I couldn't form sentences, and I haven't quite got my ability to form sentences back today. It took me forever to do anything. I'm just going to blend that a bit darker. I could just turn it over and stamp on the other side if I really wanted to. I'm going to make it a bit more shaded. And I am going to overlap them, so if I really don't like it, I can cover it up a bit. Okay? Yeah. Because I really should have seen how other people put these little lines on. Okay, let's just, but this will be a good example. So this is supposed to be a 15-minute card, but we're already going to be over 15 minutes because I made a mistake. All right, now while we've got our inks out, I'm grabbing my old olive again. Now in a sentiment, I've got a scrap of white, and I think I'm just going to use the Thanks So Much. Okay. As I said, this is a case from my friend Meg, who's in her site is iteachstamping.com, and she's in Texas in the USA, and she specializes in quick, easy cards, and I thought that a quick, easy card is definitely what we need today. So I've got my Thanks So Much. Now, I could have done this in Parakeet Party, but I wanted it a little bit darker. So let's start. We've done all our stamping. So we've stamped 3 times. I've got a little strip of the brushed gold. So first up, we're going to just pop our base card, our base layer onto our base card. So this, as I said, is Granny Apple Green. So did everyone have a nice Easter? A lovely long weekend. I think I did too much the first 3 days and ate way too much food. Okay. So now I've also got a little bit of ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop some adhesive on the back of this one. Right. Just right. I'm also going to pop a bit of adhesive on the back of this piece of gold. It is a great DSP, and I can't recall whether it's being carried over. I hope it is, because it's just gorgeous. It's really vintage looking. So, and I probably don't need a strip of this gold quite so wide, but it was what I had cut. So, done that. I'm going to use my scissors and trim off the excess. And I'm also going to put a little bit of ribbon above it. And I've got my trusty little glue dots. Now you could use, let's, instead of using the glue dots, let's use tear and tape, because we don't use that very often. So this is the tear and tape. So what I want to do is I just want it to go along that top edge. Now, I'm winging it, Jodie, so you'll be pleased to know that I'm winging it. And yeah, let's pop that little piece of tear and tape on. Let's just make sure it's lined up. Whoop. If I didn't put the ribbon on, it probably would have been a 15-minute card. But let's see how we go. We'll pop a bit of, now, instead of putting your seal or Seal Plus and pressing out your embossed bits, put them on your base card about maybe a centimetre, half an inch, whatever, quarter of an inch in, I don't know, a little way in from the edge. And then you can just pop that in the centre. So it's coming together, so it's nice and easy. Then to finish it off, we need some dimensionals. I've got a new pack here. So it must be, oh, just after 7 there now, or just before 7 there now, Jodie, is it? I find it difficult with all these time zones, and I know my American friends are all on daylight, well, not all of them, most of them are on daylight savings now, so that makes it even more tricky. So I'm putting dimensionals on these two leaves, and so it might be a 25-minute card perhaps. We're going to pop one up there, then we're going to overlap the other one And you might need to move your dimensionals around if you're overlapping. Might just move them down a bit lower. Or it might not bother you that they're up high. Yeah. The good thing is dimensionals are reasonably easy to take off. So you can put them where you want. And now as I said, this is a super quick card. It's nothing fancy, but it's just to show you that a card doesn't have to take an hour. All right, $6.55. Oh. So this is, if I wasn't chatting, it would have been a would have been a 15-minute card, I think. Just move this one. Now it's got ribbon, it's got bling. You don't have to put the ribbon on. When Meg did hers, she didn't put ribbon on it, and she didn't do the thumping technique like I did with the markers. But I like the effect of the markers. And if you wanted to put a bow on, you can, but I don't think it needs it. I think it works quite well without a bow. So what do you think? That's our card number 1. And it's done in not long at all. Just hold it up a bit higher. Nice and quick and easy, isn't it? And so you could make lots of these. And these would be great if you were going to a card day, like next Saturday I'm having a, for my customers who live locally, I'm having a play with my stuff day. So they could come along and make this, and instead of thanks so much, they might write hello, or that might be a really nice, quick and easy card for someone to make. Right, so we're ready for our second card. Again, I said we're getting a bit wild today, so we've got some of this fabulous designer series paper, and this is in the mini catalogue. It's still available. So on one side it's muted tones, so it's, on this particular paper it's basic grey and smoky slate, but then when you turn it over, the other side is silver. Woohoo. Now you could, if you wanted to, you could use your blending brushes and make it smoky slate if you wanted to do that. I'm not going to do that. Now, remember when we first started, I had a, oh, thank you. I had used my basic grey, and I embossed 2 pieces of card together. So this is my basic grey that's been embossed with that 3D Basics, this one here. And this is in the online extras. So this, I think, will be available till June or until it sells out, whatever Stampin' Up decides to do. We've got a nice base card. Now this is just half an A4 sheet. I have just made this about 1/8 of an inch smaller. All right. Now, as I said, we're getting a bit wild. So I'm going to use the Rhino Ready. And I'm going to colour him in, so he's going to take a little bit longer than the other card, but I think that it'll be worth it. But we're not doing any die cutting with this, See, I haven't even used Mr. Rhino yet. Mrs. Rhino, Mr. Rhino. So let's quickly put that together. So just I know I usually have them together, but people always ask me the easiest way to put your stamps together. And a lot of people don't put them together, and I actually think you do yourself a bit of a disservice not putting them together, because you have to turn them over to see what they are. So I'm just going to pop my little rhino on here. Take my pick tool to pick up that paper. So I've got my backing on, so it's on the... Now remember to take the backing paper off this. Now you could keep that and use it as a mask. So I'm just going to pop it back in there. All right, so I've got my rhino, and because this is a rubber stamp that has the foam built in, we won't need a piercing mat or a stamping mat underneath it or any foam. Now I'll just have to stand up and make sure I'm right over top of it, and I don't want you to see the top of my head, so because it's very grey. All right, so we've got to put that one together. Let's pick a sentiment. Hi, Vicky. Hi, Jan. Thanks for popping by. Let's see, our second one. We're going to put our sentiment together as well while we're here. Just grab a different block. So tomorrow we've got coffee, cake and cards at the Algester Sports Club for those of you who are local from 10:30. And we're also focusing on a quick, easy card because I know a few people have got things on after coffee, cake and cards this week. And I've got to take my husband to the doctor. So he's okay, but it's just one of those. If your wife doesn't make your appointment, you don't bother going. So, all right. So I've got my sentiment. I've got my rhino. I've got a piece of scrap paper. Now, this is the brand new circle punch that had... I think it's on the online extras, and just make sure that I've got enough room. Oh, thank you, Vicky. I got them refilled today, except this one, I was baking the bed and I pulled it back, and this is why I had to get it refilled, and it was very, very bloody. It was awful, and it's very, very sore. So let's use a bigger piece of paper here. So this is the new 2 3/8 inch punch. I love circle punches. They are my favourite tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my little rhino, and I've got some Memento Tuxedo Black because I'm going to do some really quick and easy colouring. I could have done it this way. It is sore. It's really bruised, Vicky. Really, really, really bruised. Oh, you're watching on a Celebrity? Yeah, I wanted to watch that tonight, so I might have to watch it on catch up. Oops. I didn't ink it properly, see. So, luckily, this paper has a magical other side, right? And so we can just ink it up. All right, let's see. So that's a lovely rhino. And I've got my stamping blends. So I've got grey granite and I've got smoky slate. I've actually got a couple of smoky slates because I didn't know which one was empty. Because I seem to use the light one much quicker than the dark one. So I'm just going to colour its nose or horn in the, and the nails in the light grey granite. And the little end of the tail as well. Use the dark grey granite around the base of his horn. That is what they're called, isn't it? It's a rhino horn. I'm hoping that's what they're called. Now we've got some light smoky slate. I'm hoping that these were closed properly, and we've got some dark smoky slate. So with my dark smoky slate, I'm not doing too much colouring with it, just a little bit where I want some shadows, a little bit along the bottom there. And I really like this rhino. I think he's beautiful. Now, you could colour the rhino and you could die cut it, but I just didn't think that that was necessary. I just wanted it to be easy. I'm just drawing that darker colour out by moving it around in a circle. I didn't want it, it's not an exact science, it's just a rough and ready blend. Yeah. So Vicky, you'll have to give me updates on how the honey badger is going with his challenge. I want to know how that is going. I don't watch Home and Away, but I do watch, for some reason, I'm a Celebrity. It's probably because I can't get hold of the remote. Now, once I've done around the edges, I can actually change the end that I use and do my colouring a bit quicker. So I use the brush end instead. But sometimes your brush end, when it gets used for classes, isn't the best end to use, because not everybody is gentle with blends. And I know some friends that I craft with, every time they use my blends, I just shake because you can hear it. They're really heavy-handed. But they're heavy-handed with stamping as well, so I'm just colouring it a bit more. And now remember, rhinos are blotchy, so it doesn't matter that this rhino is blotchy. So it's quite cute. We're going to, and I'm not going to put together this stamp. I'm just going to grab this stamp, and it is the grass stamp, and I'm not putting the background on because of time. Yes, some people are heavy-handed with glue too, yes. Yes, very much so. Now, I'm just going to put some grass along the bottom here. Now, I'm probably thinking, why is she doing that? She's punching it out. It's okay. I'm going to grab my circle punch, and I don't want too much grass on the bottom. I want more white space than I do rhino. Okay, make sure your rhino is sort of centered and sort of straight. Ah, I saw that she had got that monkey set. I didn't get to watch her make that. I'll have to go back and watch the replay. Okay. I'm just using, remember I had my Stampin' Right marker before? So I'm just going to quickly colour in those leaves. Or grasses, whatever it is. Now, you don't have to use your Stampin' Right marker. You could use your Wink of Stella. And I'm going to stamp a bit more, just because it looks a bit odd. I'll stamp a little bit more grass over here. And I am going to just put a bit of ink on my ink blot and my Wink of Stella, and just colour in those other ones with the Wink of Stella, making them a bit lighter. And then putting a bit more Wink of Stella around that bottom edge. You can see I'm really winging it. And I'm actually coating the whole lot with Wink of Stella and the green mixed together, so it looks like he's not sitting in the air. Okay, that's a bit better. Maybe. Okay. So to clean your Wink of Stella, you just squeeze it and rub it on your grid paper until it comes in. Okay, so as I said, this super quick card, the longest part is your colouring. So we've got our base card. So again, like we did before, because we've got this layer is embossed, we're not going to press out the embossing. We're just going to put the stamping seal directly on the base card, a little bit in from the edge. I'll have a bit in the middle. But before we stick that on, we're going to stick our zebra paper onto this strip. Now I am doing it with the shiny side up. You might decide that you don't like that. It's great paper. It is so cool. So So what I'm doing is I'm just lining up the bottom edge. Now this strip is 2.5 inches, I think. I'm lining it up the bottom edge and doing it about 1/2 inch in, and using my grid paper to keep it nice and straight. Now, if there was any excess, I would trim that off, but there's not. So let's pop this on here. Oh, there's a tiny bit of excess at the top. It must have moved. All right. So, isn't the paper so cool? It's zebra paper. As soon as I saw this, I thought of my eldest sister, because when we were growing up, we used to call her Deborah, and she didn't like that. That's okay. I didn't like all my nicknames either, especially not being called Fred. Let's see. We've got our super cute. So it looks like I'm going to have to lift my game, because apparently other people, when they do their unboxings, I did mine last week, but apparently others use their stuff as soon as they unbox it. Oh, goodness. All right. So now I've got I'm nearly there. I've got my sentiment that I want to put on. I am going to just use Memento ink with that. So I can't see the any comments. Hi Chris, thanks for watching. Hope you're having a really lovely day. I made the mistake of going to the shopping centre today. I didn't realise it was still school holidays. And then when I was coming home, there was a truck rollover underneath the bridge. And so it took me, instead of 15 minutes to get home, it took me 45. So that wasn't any fun. So I've just pop this on here. Now grab my paper trimmer. So I didn't even take the last scraps off from last week. And I'm just going to cut this strip to 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to cut a little bit off there, and then at about the halfway mark, that's about halfway, I'm just going to make a little banner. This is why what grid paper is great for. It can really help you line up where your banners and your measurements. That looks pretty good, just like I bought one. All right, and we're going to pop this sentiment down here. And I am not going to put any ribbon on this, but I will put some bling, because we can't, even though the paper is super blingy, it is not, it still needs bling, even though the paper is super blingy. I think that it needs just a few pretty rhinestones on it. Yeah. Now the rhinestones, they come in 3 sizes. So let's have a think about where we want to put those. I might put a big one up there. And then a middle size one next to it. And then a teeny baby one over here somewhere. Maybe down here. Or maybe we'll just put it right up there. Yeah, let's leave it up there. So I've got a nice triangle shape. Got my nice odd numbers. So that's our second card. So as I said, it didn't take too long. The longest part was the colouring, and you could just stamp it and not colour it. So keep that in mind. You don't have to colour your things, or you could stamp it on smoky slate and die cut it out. So matte dots would be really good too. Yes. So there are my 2 quick cards for tonight. So I know that everybody is tired at the end of the day, and it's the first day back at work after a long weekend, and there are some really good things on TV tonight. So I didn't want to keep you too long. So thank you so much for joining me, and if you're watching on replay, make sure that you let me know, and I'll save this to YouTube as well. And until next time, happy creating and have a great week, and I'll see some of you at Coffee, Cake and Cards tomorrow, and others of you I shall see at class on Saturday. Bye for now.